Welcome to the Vault Podcast and Reviews, where music still matters. You can check out all our shows at YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and Podomatic. Please rate, review, and most importantly, subscribe. Also, make sure to check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you like what we're doing and you'd like to contribute to help us keep the show going, check out patreon.com/thevault. This is not a joke. You did see the picture right. You did read the title right. We are reviewing Purpose by Justin Bieber, of all things. But you know what? That's what we're here for. We've got diverse music tastes, and even stuff we, on the surface, don't probably want to listen to. We're going to check it out anyways for everybody that's checking us out. So once again, thanks for the support. And Robbie, what'd you think of this album? Because it was your idea, so I'll let you kick things off.
Oh, you got to throw me under the bus.
I will bury you.
Right, man.
I'm not against it, though. Anything you want to throw at me, we're going to review. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's better for the people listening because then they get a diverse choice. You know what I mean? It's all over the place. So I hope everybody likes the reviews we're doing. But as far as my opinion on this album goes, I want to first off say that, I've always been in the closet Justin Bieber fan. It's one of those things I hate to love. But his first couple albums, were real poppy. They were all right. I was pleasantly surprised with this album. I honestly, I enjoyed it for the most part, minus this or that. But
I'll cut in and give you kind of my first take on Justin Bieber. I'd probably never heard more than one song, and that was probably just kind of randomly on the radio. And to this day, if I heard him on the radio, I don't even know if I could tell you it was Justin Bieber.
Right.
But I wasn't against this. I kind of went into this with a clean slate. I didn't know what I was expecting. I mean, I knew it was going to be kind of pop music, but right. I don't think it was really what I was expecting. I think I was expecting a little bit more like boy band sound.
Yeah, really what I expected it was to be more like that Demi Lovato album that we reviewed, to where it was going to be like real poppy, real overproduced. And those.
So we're on the same page then about what we thought it was going to be.
Right, exactly.
So kick things off. Just let it go.
All right, man. Well, first off, it's not as poppy as I expected. Like I said, the production on it is excellent. To me, in my opinion, it was perfect. It's very well done. It's very well executed.
It's super clean.
But it's not overproduced. You know what I mean? I didn't hear a lot of auto-tune. I believe that the vocals that he's putting on are clean from him and not tampered with too much, other than just adding doubles to the back and that kind of thing. I have a couple of things that I really liked about it. First of all, Big Sean was on it again, and he did a song with Justin Bieber a little while back. As Long as You Love Me was a song they did together back on Believe, I believe was the name of the album. So I was stoked to hear him on it again. Plus, bro, it's got Nas on it. He dropped a song with Nas on it, and if that doesn't show that he has, one of two things: either enough money to get Nas on an album, or enough respect to where Nas was willing to do the album with him, because Nas is a legend.
Oh, probably both, because I'm sure he knows how popular Bieber is. It's just even more exposure to people who might normally not listen to him.
Exactly. So I really dug that a lot. I honestly, man, he's a great singer. He may be the biggest douchebag alive, and maybe that's just how the media portrays him, but you can hate the dude all you want, but you cannot deny his talent. He's good on it. And on this album especially, I feel that he really flexed his singing ability and kind of stepped outside the box of the pop music that he had been doing previously.
I don't even know where to start on this. I'm just being completely honest. And it's not all bad. It's just I don't most of the time when we do these reviews, I've got bullet points of what I like and dislike, and this is just kind of I don't even know. I don't even have that many notes, but I'll just agree with you on the singing. I've actually heard some of his live stuff, because that's one thing I do when I hear a lot of these pop artists. I immediately go check out their live stuff and see if they're, I'll throw her under the bus, Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
can't sing live, but all the studio magic makes it sound good. But
yeah,
he
yeah,
can sing
exactly.
live, and a fantastic singer. Like, not
And,
what I was expecting. He doesn't have that stupid boy band voice.
no,
He's a
no.
really good singer.
And I don't know if this was on yours or not, but on the Spotify version, it was a deluxe album, and so at the end of it, he did an acoustic song, like a cover of one of his songs that's on this album, and it was awesome. And like I was telling you on that Believe album, he released two versions of it, one that you hear on the radio, and the other playing guitar, doing an acoustic version of it. And I like that a lot better because you kind of get like more of the artist feel. You know what I mean? Like you can pick him apart and be like, all right, well, he's an actual artist. He's playing guitar. He's a good singer.
This
And
isn't Lil Wayne playing the guitar either.
shit. Right. No doubt. No doubt.
I mean,
And
he's not like Eddie Van Halen or Yngwie Malmsteen, but he can at least play.
exactly. I mean, he can play, and that's how he got discovered was when he was obviously like a little kid, essentially like 13, playing acoustic guitar and singing on YouTube. And Usher found him doing that, and then brought him in and made him a pop star. So I mean, he's obviously got talent. Like, I mean, people can hate on him all they want, but I mean, he's a legitimate artist, and that's when I want to lead from that to this. To me, this album was like a legit R&B album. You know what I
I
mean?
100% agree.
It wasn't a pop album like I was
No,
expecting. It wasn't is I mean, minus a couple of songs. It's a straight up R&B album, which I dug. I mean, it's probably one of the better straight R&B albums that has come out in a while. If people listen to the album, because I mean, even his radio songs aren't like super poppy. I mean, they're talking about like real shit, and I gotta respect him for that because his last album was just straight pop music. And so I feel like he kind of stepped into a different realm. As my buddy Grosjean would say, this is a grown folk album. This is this. It's got your R&B songs. He's got his meaningful songs. He's got his songs about sex and baby making music. And so yeah, I really dug the fact that it was a legitimate R&B album almost from beginning to end. And I got a couple songs that I'll mention, but that weren't in that category. But yeah, man, I was pleasantly surprised with this. And like I said, I like Justin Bieber from the past. I've always been like a closet Justin Bieber fan, because all my friends dog me on it whenever I bring it up. But I really enjoyed it, man.
the music was kind of a nice surprise on certain tracks. It was some of them even had like this hip hop feel to it.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, no, absolutely. I completely agree with you.
On that, just a couple of songs I wrote down that kind of caught my ear musically was "I'll Show You," "Company," "No Sense," and "Children." Do you remember any of those specifically?
Actually, No Sense was one of my favorites that I
And we're
wrote
in
down.
agreement there because that was my favorite. So
And I even liked one of his radio songs, "Love Yourself." Was
yeah, that
really
wasn't
good.
it wasn't too bad.
All right, it wasn't too bad, but no, I really like it just because I felt like I'm gonna pick at least because he's got 5 or 6 songs off this album that are popular on the radio, and so I was like, well, I'll pick at least a favorite out of the radio songs that I think are legitimate, and "Love Yourself" was probably the best radio song he has out off this album.
So what else you got? Because I have a bunch of other notes, but like I don't want to say they're negative, but I definitely don't have much else good to say about this.
Well, I've got a few. He had some real positive songs. Life is worth living was one, and the reason I can't get down with it just because I don't connect with the lyrics in that song. But imagine where he's standing, the fans that are listening, like the age group of people that are listening to him. This song is about live your life, suicide, don't commit suicide, just live your life. Life is worth living, and
It's a great
honestly.
point.
And I feel that he probably helped out a lot of his fans through their lives because a lot of the people that listen to this stuff are teeny boppers, that kind of stuff. And
Well, apparently not. You dig it.
Yeah, but I mean, but I'm an exception to
Kidding, I'm
the I'm an
kidding.
exception to the rule though. But it probably helped those kids out a lot. That because kids that age go through that moment of life, where like, maybe I should just kill myself. What's worth living? Blah blah blah. But I think this "Life Is Worth Living" song probably could have helped and saved a lot of his fans. You know what I mean? That were in that mode of life isn't worth living and what am I and blah blah. And so I think that was a really meaningful song. He has a couple other really meaningful songs. "The Children" was one, and I made a couple notes on this song. You remember the song "The Children," right?
Yeah, that's one of the ones that I put down, like musically. That one kind of stood out to me.
Right. So he says, "We're the generation who's going to be the one to fight it. We're the inspiration. Do you believe enough to die for it? Basically the toughest, the bravest. But I kind of felt like this song is like him trying to create like an uprising. Like fight it. Are you willing to die for it? Are you gonna stand up and fight with the rest of
Well,
us?
and
Like,
that could be a little bit more motivational, kind of what you just said about the other
yeah.
song too. Like it can kind of piggyback. I mean, it's all kind of maybe a little bit more positivity songs and more inspirational, like you said.
Yeah, and again, just to bring it back to the point that I think this is pretty much, I'd say 80% a straight R&B album. He had his dance songs. "Where Are You Now," which had Skrillex and Diplo on it. "Ben You" was pretty dancey. And I just feel like he really came correct as far as like his singing abilities on this album. I mean, he really kind of, I hate using the word, but he really flexed his singing ability and really kind of showed it off on this album, which really in the past, all he's been doing is trying to make hits. You know what I mean?
It's just really hard for me to keep doing this, to be honest. Like, total. I'm either usually fired up one way or another, and
Yeah.
like I'm not on this.
Yeah. And
It's
honestly,
really
like,
strange.
well, honestly, when I suggested this album for us to review, I kind of expected you to uh, be like, "Nah, fuck this. This isn't
Oh
good."
no.
No, no, but just because I basically when I request the albums for us, I try to push you out of your comfort zone, just like you do me, to
Yep.
get you to listen to music that you've never heard or wouldn't normally listen to. That way, we can have conflicting opinions on it. And then other people can kind of get in there and kind of relate to that as well and see where they stand.
Well, it's like you said too. A lot of people trash Bieber, and they could be like me. Like I never really trashed him before. I just had preconceived notions on what I was going to be hearing,
Right.
which
And that's
um,
because of the media. The
exactly.
media, they put all his bad stuff out there. But you got to think too. I mean, this kid's like 18 to 20 years old. If I made it that big at 18 to 20 years old, let me tell you this. I mean, he got busted taking a bunch of Xanax with his buddy and hot rodding their Lamborghinis. If I had his money, I would be getting trashed and driving Lamborghinis high speed and racing people down the street. I mean, but I mean, a lot of the things he does, people look at him and judge him immediately, but they judge him on who he is instead of judging his music. And in any time, in any situation where an artist or even an actor get real famous when they're like 14 or 15, they're going to wow out. Like, I mean, because you lose touch with what's really reality and what is socially acceptable, because what's socially acceptable to us is not to a celebrity. And so you're going to get those things. And honestly, in real life, he might be the biggest douchebag you've ever met. But again, his music puts him aside for that. You know what I mean? And I
So, what
really liked
negatives
that.
do you have to say about this?
Oh man, I didn't even like jot down any really negatives because I was thoroughly impressed with the fact that it was a grown folk album. It was a straight like R&B album, and you don't hear baby making music like that on poppy artists. That's just not what they do. And I just feel that he did a great job at taking that turn and, growing as a person, aging as a person and growing as an artist.
All right, so I guess I'll start on what I guess would be considered negative. I don't even know. I can tell you I will never listen to this again. And it's not because
Yeah.
I hate it, it's because I have no interest.
Right.
If that
Right.
makes any sense at
No,
all.
it's just not. It's just not your style. It's not your cup
There
of
are
tea.
even there are even like metal bands that I will hear a song from and I'll say this absolutely sucks. I'm never listening to it again. I can't say I felt that way on any of these songs. It's just none of them really stood out to me as if, we talk about going back and wanting to listen to them again and again. And like, I didn't feel that way at all. So, I mean, it's hard to give this a rating. I'll just kind of preface by saying that because the guy, like, basically almost my entire rating is coming off his ability to sing. Because
Yeah.
if there's one thing that shines over this whole album, it's just his ability to sing.
And it really is, man. I mean, he's a great singer, man. I mean, you cannot take that away from dude, no matter how big of a douche he is in real life, and no matter why people.
And musically, it was, maybe average at best for me. That's what I'm always looking for. Always looking for the music. Always looking for the catchy beats, riffs, whatever.
He had a lot of catchy beats on this album.
See,
too,
I didn't
though.
think so. I thought there was just a couple, and the rest of it was, like you said, R&B, and maybe that's one thing because I like, every now and then some of the classic R&B stuff like Teddy Pendergrass or something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not an R&B fan, and there's just too much, how I've used the term downer music. Well, this is what I like to call ooh baby baby music.
I was just gonna
you,
say that.
It's just not my I just can't get into it. I can't relate to it. None of that stuff. But
and honestly, that's one of the reasons I recommended this album for us to review, just because I wanted to get your opinion on it as well. That way we have,
I can
both
tell you
sides of
right
it.
now, this probably will not be the worst album I ever rate. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not giving it a high rating at all, but it's not going to be the worst. So.
But isn't that crazy? Because for being Justin Bieber, would you ever have thought that you would have gave Justin Bieber a decent review?
It's not decent. I mean, I don't even. It's just weird.
It was, man. But I really love R&B like that. That really touches R. Kelly. I love some Keith Sweat.
Keith Sweat, yeah.
Jodeci. I love all that stuff, man. R&B's. I love R&B. Next to hip hop, I love R&B. And this is. I really thought that this was just going to be a straight pop album, and it wasn't. I mean, he had his poppy songs on it, but he brought it pretty much straight R&B, and I was really I praise him for that because I feel like he, like I said, he's growing up, he's growing older as an artist, and so he's trying to be a little bit more adult.
Got anything else before we jump into the ratings?
Man, I mean, I just want to say, he had his meaningful songs, like his real heartfelt songs, and the rest of them were sex songs. Like he should have
baby baby music.
He should have had Too Short on some of these songs.
Hey, Too Short would have been on here. That would have given a whole different vibe. And
dude,
probably
Nas is on it though. Nas is on it.
Not the same. Not the same.
For
All
sure.
right, so 1 star being the worst, 5 stars being the best. I'm going to go ahead and give my rating, and it is a 2. Below average, but not the worst. I can guarantee you we're going to listen to something that's going to get a negative. But before I say anything else, I totally understand why people like this, and I'm not going to knock that. So,
for sure, and I can understand people that would like this better than his last album. Because his last album was straight pop, and this is straight
R&B. We need to review the last album then, too, I think.
Yeah, we will. Absolutely. I'd be down with that. So let's go ahead with, what did you give it, a 2?
Yeah, and I understand why people like it, but most of the music, it's just not my thing. There was a couple of standout tracks, like I mentioned. Just kind of bland. The lyrics are awful to me. Like, I don't like inspirational lyrics. I don't like ooh, baby, baby music. So that kind of leaves me just kind of, But again, very, very good singer. Like, fantastic.
Yeah, he really is. And I gave this album a 3.5.
All right.
I really like. I just really like the fact that he switched it up from his last album and quit trying to be so poppy and brought it back to the roots of R&B, like R. Kelly. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he really brought a brought his A game, and you can hear him, like I said, flex as an artist, like flex as a singer. Like he's just really on this album. I feel like he really showed his true ability to sing. So my rating, like I said, was 3.5. So
all right, so that's going to give this album Purpose by Justin Bieber, 2015 release, Vault Star rating of 2 3/4 stars, just a bit below average. Honestly, I think that's fair.
yeah, honestly, I wished it would have been a little higher, but I get it. No, that makes complete sense. A little below average. I mean, it's Justin Bieber, but he is an excellent singer, and I would like to leave that as an impression for people. So, I mean, even if you don't like Justin Bieber, at least take the time to listen to this album, because you might be thoroughly surprised with what you hear.
Especially if you like R&B, pop music, and just singing in general.
Exactly.
This may seem like a low rating, but it's just there's things we like a whole lot better. We did George Jones. Like, you may hate country music, but that's something we love, and we collectively gave it a pretty high rating. So
yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 5.
There you go. That's a prime example. And that's our ratings are pretty hard to come by. Like, I think I've only ever given an album 1 5-star rating, and we haven't even actually done a podcast on it. It was a written review, so we'll have to do that one again sometime. But yeah, if you like that kind of music, if you like pop, if you like R&B, don't hesitate. Check this out. Don't kind of let the stereotype of Justin Bieber kind of cloud your vision as far as like how you're going to approach this. Because I'll be honest, like, I approached it with completely clean slate, had no idea what I was getting. So I'll say pleasantly surprised compared to what I thought I was going to get. So anything else before we get out of here?
No, man. Just the fact that you can follow me on Twitter at obnoxious420. I also have a SoundCloud, which is now, I recently changed, which is now soundcloud.com/obnoxious420. And if you want to add me on Snapchat, or Instagram, it's obnoxious421. So just look me up, and keep on listening to music, man, because it still matters.
And don't forget, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can listen to everything. You listen to some of our backlogged shows on YouTube, but we're also now on iTunes, Stitcher, Podomatic, and our Patreon page is live. So if you like what we're doing, consider giving monetarily to keep the show going. It does cost time and money to keep these things going. And, honestly, even if you can only give $1 a month, that's, around 33 cents a show for what we put out weekly. Hey, that goes farther than you think. So we appreciate everybody tuning in, and keep checking us out, subscribe, and you'll get all those notifications.
Well, hey, and also before we cut this off, even donating just like a tiny bit is going to be able to help us to do more. We've got a lot of things in the works as far as, this and that. I don't want to go into too much detail, some interviews, some other things. So just keep an eye out, man. And any amount of money, even if it's 50 cents, whatever, just help us out. That way we can make this show better and progress from here.
Thanks for listening. Until next time, see ya.